What is up, risk takers? Welcome to the Kill Pete strategy. I am Pete. I am a risk grandmaster playing on PC. I have a daily release schedule on YouTube. If you are interested in getting better with the game of Risk, please subscribe to my channel and come along this journey with me. Today is the next episode of the Waiting on Your Best Behaviour podcast, and I have a very, very special guest with me, Grandmaster Sterling.
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for having me on this. I've been watching all of the episodes, so it's quite exciting to be taking part.
Well, likewise, Sterling, you are a massive figure in the community at large and in my mind specifically. So thank you for doing this with me.
That'll be great.
I just want to tell everybody to start that I actually wouldn't be here if not for you, Sterling, because of that post you made on Reddit advertising the Q1 tournament. I was just like, well, maybe I'll check it out, right? What's the worst that could happen? I'll compete and I'll see how good I am, right? And then and then it was from there. It was just this introduction to Discord, such a amazing experience for me, and I'm sure that's why you spend so much time doing what you do, right? Like, you're getting a lot out of it too.
Yeah.
So why don't you start with a bio? Who are you?
So I'm 22, I live in the UK, and I've been playing Risk. I think I started playing the board game when I was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5, so yeah, a really long time ago, but I started playing this app, Risk Global Domination, at the start of the 2020, and I think I started playing it at the beginning of January and made the New Year's resolution to get Guild at Risk. So I was really excited when, within a month of starting my first account, I take Grandmaster.
Yes.
And then, I think soon after that I joined my first tournament and was a winner there. So then, after that I've just been really interested in like playing with top players and learning all sorts of different maps and settings, and also like just trying out all sorts of different tournaments and helping with organising them.
So it sounds like you are very interested in exactly the same thing that I'm interested in.
What's that?
Well, getting better, playing with the best people, being a positive influence and a role model, all those things.
Yeah, definitely.
You're big on competition. Why don't we set up a game before we get too far into this? Remind me of the settings.
I'm the 2209 AD progressive. Posting the code in, looking for game.
Oh, you got it? Okay. There you are. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, so did you say you won your very first tournament?
Yeah, it's the same as you, really. This one was Q2 2020. I was one of the 3 winners, and it was all zombies games, so not that many people play Risk Zombies a lot compared to like other modes. So I practiced that one every day and just really like picked up a lot of skill in it relative to a lot of people. So I think nearly all of my games I came either first or second. So, and there was 2 games per round for that as well, so there was a lot more of the games. And I did really well with that, which I was really happy with.
No kidding. So did you study the zombie pathing for that?
No, I think it was actually discovered, or at least became public knowledge a little bit later on, that zombies actually move in a way that is completely predictable if you map it out for a map. But at the time, even the rule, I think that zombies will only attack if they have twice as many troops, wasn't really known then. So it was less about being able to have a 100% certain idea of what they're going to do, so much as just playing a lot and getting a really good feel for firstly how the humans play, but just what the zombies feel like they're doing.
The first time I played zombies, it really did seem random.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very much designed to give the illusion of randomness, but that can be amazing actually if you are playing to a high level, because they actually do move entirely predictably, which allows you to get a 1-up.
Yeah. It was daunting. So it's like that, I'm sure, in everything, right? Even the AI, once you can ascertain exactly which flavor of AI you're facing, the AI will also behave deterministically.
I think the AI, for each one, they have a relatively limited number of options for a given position, given their personality. And as a result of that, they will randomize between those options. So occasionally you will see just a weird unlucky move where, slightly uncharacteristically, they will hit a bigger stack than you think. And I think there is an element of luck to that, but you can definitely, if you know the ally well, and you can identify the difficulty in the personality, have a much better sense of what they're going to do next.
How much do you think luck matters? I know that's a bad question, but it's open. I want to see where you go with it. How much does luck matter in this game?
It really is important. Like at all levels, it does play a part. But I think also, like, skill at every level does make a difference as well. So, for example, if a top player, like a real top player, is playing against just a standard average player, maybe beginner rank, the top player will overall have, say, a 99% chance of winning that game, and it can be easy to see it as them definitely winning, but the reality is that 1% is always there, and whether that's crazy cards, going first and predicting the right stack, or just getting insane rolls, or often actually a combination of all of them, there's always a chance to win, no matter what you're playing. So there's always an element of luck, but it's never actually 50-50. Like, even between good players, there's always slight differences in the way people play. So there's always someone who's at an advantage over the other, even if it's just in that particular game.
How is it that you can determine those style differences? It's very difficult for me to articulate this in words, but I think I know what you're saying. Even amongst the very best, there's still quite a variety of different style, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think some of it comes from the fact that there's so many types of risk maps and settings that it's impossible for everyone, or really for anyone, to be the best at everything. So there's kind of an observable difference between a really, really good player who's on their kind of home map and settings versus a real top player who's on something that's completely unfamiliar. So I think, okay, let's start this one. But
right.
I think this one's one that I picked out, which will be quite interesting because I might have played this once, but it's honestly pretty much entirely unfamiliar, which will be quite interesting because this is something you're really strong at. So it's something that I'm quite interested to pick up on. Yeah. So
do you want me to kind of coach you, or do you want how do you?
Yeah, if you see anything cool, especially because it's long fog.
Sure.
It'd be interesting to bring anything up.
Yeah, well, this is okay. So, what we're practicing right now, after this show, Sterling has his Grandmasters tournament game, and I won this one yesterday, so I didn't have to play the second one. But both of these in this round are my grind settings, essentially. 6-player progressive with no fog, no blizzards, 60-second turns. And this map is 2209, so it's the second largest map in the game. It has 86 territories. Big Dog's in the first position. I would be very happy where you are, right? 5 out of 6. So what I'd be looking
at in terms of the progressive cards, it's nice to be in that position.
In terms of the matching and in terms of how many troops you're going to get on your first turn. So what you want to be looking for right now is you want to be finding a spot where you can get a run of 2 or 3 singles, and it looks to me like you're clustered in Eastern Asia. So what I would do if I just based on how you are is I would do kind of a Pacific Ring play, because that won't look visually like you're one big contiguous position, and maybe you can start to snowball and hold 14 plus territories. But also you're going to want to maintain 1 or 2 exclaves, which you look like you have a 3 stack in Africa, and then any of those 2s can also be added to slowly over the first couple turns.
Yeah, this sounds quite tricky.
Okay, well... So I have 2 positions right now. I have 2 main positions. I have the South American coast, and I have a bunch of Siberia. So what I'm suggesting you do is I'm actually suggesting you get in my way up in Russia. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with both of my positions strengthened, because I don't want to lose either of these. I'm going to take all but 1 of that Russia, because it's going to be a good tell for me to see who goes, if anyone, to try and contest me from taking that continent.
So I'm guessing I don't want to contest you from taking that.
Well, you're welcome to try.
So I guess I could go for a few here. Maybe Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan. I'll probably connect to Ukraine. So I've noticed you're on 17 territories. So if I'm able to take 4, that would match you.
Right. But I don't think the goal is not to hold 17, right? The goal is to simply hold more than 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So now you've staked a position. So I think on your next turn, unless somebody aggressively pushes into there, you're going to want to stake a second position. I kind of like North America. Or not. Maybe Vixel gets in there instead. Or not. We'll see.
Do people tend to manage to hold continents on this?
Yeah. With GMs, for sure. For sure. It all depends on the split. It looks like everyone here we're playing as a Grandmaster. I don't know General Wellington. Yeah.
I think I quickly clicked on him. He seems pretty good.
Definitely a GM record. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, you can use that knowledge to sort of determine everyone here is going to be more or less on a level playing field, which actually does increase the luck in the game. I don't predict that anyone would let me hold a continent, but you never know.
Yeah, it can be quite unpredictable like that. I think with any settings, like just sometimes people let you hold a lot, and then sometimes you'll have something really small, and then people just don't want you to have it.
Well, look at Big Dog's positioning, right? Big Dog is already looking really strong, right? They have multiple 3 stacks separated. They have a 4 in Africa and they have a 5 in Iceland, where they have a bunch of other spread out singles. So unless somebody gets involved in Europe, okay, see that'll contest. So now somebody's into North America at least, good. But General Wellington is playing it cautiously. Okay. Yeah, there's no reason for me to not do this now, right? Because now I get to see who wants to make me the bad guy. So come at me, right?
Do I want to break you or not?
Exactly. I dare you.
I think often as well, the closer you, like, so for example, Pink, who is just before you, if no one's broken you by his turn, he's going to really feel the burn, take some action, whereas because I'm the first person after you, it's like the least, out of anyone's turn order, it's the least my problem.
Sure.
Because it's kind of left to other people if I don't do it.
Yes. And then if nobody does it, what do I get? A +7 or something ridiculous? Yeah. I get a +7. Yeah. So someone has to stop me.
Does Egypt connect to Saudi Arabia on this?
Yes.
Oh, I probably should have built up a second position, but we can do that next turn.
Yeah, that's okay. Because now that you don't break me, that's also a tell, right? I can say we have an undefended border. We can be good neighbors. I'll let you hold Central Asia. And then everyone else falls behind. So, Sterling, I've asked this of just about everyone on the show, but I'm interested to see where you take it. What do you use to determine whether a person is playing from, whether you have something to learn from your opponent? What tells do they have that make you see that?
I think quite a big one can be like achievements they've made. So, for example, like it's not possible for me to play everything to like just in global to a standard where like I'm the best at everything because there's just so many different setups.
Even for you, I find that hard. I say even for you, I find that hard to believe.
So, say for example, I want to get better at 2v2.
Yep.
Then, like say Spike and Sin who won a 2v2 tourney, or Oliver Varlux who won a 2v2 tourney, or you Stone Baxter, I played them as well because they've done well. They're all people who've done like very, very well in tournaments playing against other good players in that game mode. So they're the people who I go to and think, could you teach me some of this? And it's quite a useful way of getting a quick head up on a new style of game without having to start that from scratch. So I think often oh, you did manage to hold it, well done.
Thank you.
That's quite a nice big 1+7.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone let that happen, but it was a team effort, guys. Okay.
I think sometimes in play with friends as well, like people don't care enough to make enemies.
Well, I also feel like everyone in this game knows what I'm about, so that might have been a mistake. And now I'm the worst. So this is an interesting thing in a risk game, this moment, because now I've just gotten super greedy, and now everyone has to come hit me, or else I just win. So what Sterling is doing is very interesting. So Sterling is saying, I'm on your team still, Pete. Don't hit me, I won't hit you. And that's really great. I'll let you have that +7 happily, right? As long as
and in a sense, I'm observing that the players seem to be playing a little more passively than I was originally anticipating. So I'm kind of adapting to that and hoping that if they're willing to let you hold something, perhaps there's something in their mentality that might allow that for me as well.
Well, I am certainly willing to let you hold that, because it's all upside for me, right? Let's both be strong and eat everyone else.
Vixel, I think Vixel's read the message in the same way. He's got a +4 as opposed to our +7s, but it still puts him in a decent position.
Okay, so now everyone's taking continents. Yeah, cool. Cool. Okay, we're gonna play this kind of game. So you don't play a lot of multiplayer Prague?
I did for the World Tournament that was all progressive games. I practiced those ones, but actually I don't think I've played a lot since then. I mainly practice stuff in terms of free-for-all that is within the tournaments. There's been so many tourneys recently, like I practiced 2v2 for the 2v2 tournament, like 1v1 for 5-side and 1v1. I've done 1v1 for ranked, and then I've been practicing 3v3 for the 3v3 tournament, the Grandmaster settings for the Grandmaster tournament. There's just like a lot of stuff to practice. So like I've not played that much that's not like for a specific thing recently.
Right. And that really sounds like that's your sort of style in general, right? You tend to...
Yeah, I think especially since I'm organising a lot of the tournaments, and often it's actually quite tricky getting people to make setting suggestions. Like it actually comes in particularly handy just knowing like firsthand like what does and doesn't work for the tournament games, and there's no real way of working that out other than testing stuff.
Where do you think your desire to learn and achieve comes from? Well, like I'm interested to know your motivation a bit.
That's a good question, actually. I think it's relatively intrinsic. Like ambition is something that's always been a characteristic that I've had. I think part of it is like enjoying the sense of improvement and getting better, building skills, and then I think also I just enjoy the satisfaction of getting to use those skills as well when it comes to a chance to use it.
You like winning.
Yeah, and I think especially winning skillfully, like there's a definite extra satisfaction that comes from making some really good moves as opposed to just getting lucky.
Well, I'll still take getting lucky though.
Yeah, definitely. But I think there can be a misconception sometimes of things being kind of all well that ends well. Like you'll see someone play a 1v1 badly, and then for whatever luck they win it, and they're like, oh, I'm amazing at 1v1. I don't need any more practice at this. And right. It could be the same with free-for-all, but I think it's important, even if you are winning, to kind of be aware of like why you're winning and if there was still anything you could have done better. But also when you are losing, to see was there still something good that I did do, and is there any Plus 21, wow.
Yeah, well, I don't know how this was allowed to occur, but I think you all screwed up. Um, now, okay, so now I'm
It's
in
like
that
everyone's just waiting for someone else to do something.
right. Well, because they know now I'm too powerful, so if you break me, you eat my wrath. So I can just continue with this plan of
I think part of it as well is just like it's play with friends, so like they can afford to just like see what happens because it's interesting.
Yeah, there's no real stakes. I mean, somebody needs to stop this. Right? Somebody has to stop this, or else. I've never had a game like this, man. You're not doing too bad either, though. So
yeah, the thing is, do I fight you? But the thing, like, all it's gonna do is just weaken us both to give someone else a nice chance of winning, which isn't massively advantageous.
But
I mean, white.
But that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If everyone thinks that, then I just win, right? Then I'm just gifted this game, and I don't even have to try. Yeah, white's looking weak, eh?
Oh, I'm out of time. Rip. See, if it wasn't for the PC speed enough, I probably could take out black now, but there's no point starting.
Right. Well, you're a PC guy, yes? No, sorry, you have a mobile account too. You do both.
Yeah, I play both quite a lot.
What what do you think about this? I'm pretty upset, man, about the situation.
Yeah, I think to me it's almost like, sports like football where speed is part of the skill. Like you'd consider a footballer who can run fast as like overall more skilled. And
yes.
I do think like in a game where dice can be a big part, speed is one of those differentiators which allows some of the players to win relatively consistently even when they are unlucky. But it is a shame to kind of see that go and that just ends up putting more weight on the luck.
Right. It's not the skill, but it is a skill.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Am I barking up the wrong tree to ask that maybe instead of slowing down PC, they speed up mobile? Is that like an impossible ask?
Yeah, that's what I suggested on Ideas for the SMG. I think that would definitely be an improvement. I think the motivation behind their current slowing down of PC was firstly that they're getting that troop bug that occurs when people attack quickly, and they've been really trying to fix that, and it's just not happening. And the other is that there are people who just whine a lot about PC being faster.
Oh, there are. Where might you find those folks?
What's that?
Where might you find those folks?
I mean, it's definitely common on Reddit, but it's you definitely see that on Facebook as well, and even some of it on Discord. Zeraki, he was number one, and he got an auto suspension because too many people were reporting him for speed hacking, but actually he was just fast. And it's like obviously when they saw it got removed because there is no such thing as speed hacking. But it's funny how quick people are to try and find some external factor and blame it on that, as opposed to recognise that maybe they could improve their own speed.
Well, this speaks to an attitude problem, yes?
Yeah.
I've noticed a consistent thread amongst some of the really, really good grandmasters that I've played with now. Oh, you're going for it, eh? Nice, get him. avenge me.
Oh.
Yeah, bad roll.
Is this cut it fine now?
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth hitting a 14 with a 17?
It won't be a 17 when you get there.
Exactly. As much as it pains me, I think I have to leave it at this point.
Well, then if Big Dog or Elite General have a match...
But what are the odds, like 60%?
Less, yeah. Yeah. No, man, like, it really seems to me... I don't know you well, which I kind of wanted to fix a little bit by getting to chat with you. And it really seems like you and I have a lot in common, and we share, just in terms of attitude, right? I've noticed amongst some of the really top players, the understanding that you got to work at it to get really good and to win. You know, you're not going to be handed your victories, but at the same time, it's available to anyone, right? The game is fair. Maybe not. Like,
yeah, definitely.
You know, the PC speed thing was a thing, and I just want to officially be on the record as saying that I think we should be on a level playing field. But oh sure, now Big Dog's just gonna piss everyone off. Nice, well done. Every continent, sure, except League General.
I think he's trying to make himself harder to kill because he's realizing that he's low on troops in a game where the trades are getting quite high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the other thing as well is that there's definitely, I think while skill does pass to a certain extent between maps and settings, you do need to practice individual setups. So I think it can be easy to think, oh, I'm good at, I don't know, say for example, Supermax 1v1, so I don't need to try for, someone's going for me. Or is he? Yeah, so I think once you're good at one, it can be easy to get a little bit cocky after getting high ranked or doing well in the tournament and thinking that you don't need to improve, but still, it doesn't de facto make you like amazing at everything. You still need to learn each thing individually.
Yeah, I really don't think I'm amazing at anything. I think I have the correct attitude, right? And that adds a certain amount of consistency. Let's see if I can do this in time now.
Okay, so in this position, it's naturally in my interest if you do run out of time, but I mean, you're moving quite fast.
Don't think I'll screw this up. But it's always possible. Okay, so League General has 4 cards. He's next to match. What's the match point? 30?
25 at the moment. Yeah, 30 now.
Okay. So what would you do in this situation?
If you can make a kill, do it. But I think if you're feeling short on time, then it's better to not almost kill someone than it is to almost kill someone.
So I preserve most of my troops, and I have half the world. Oh, you got a match on 3 though. Nice. Okay. Can you get him?
I think I have to try.
I think it's too
close. I don't know these links well at all.
Yeah, he's oopsing you, man.
It's looking tight. That 12 isn't nice.
Oh, maybe you got it. Maybe you got it. Very cool. Very cool, yeah.
Rip.
Oh, wait, 17. Yeah. You're not dead yet. 17. I think you got it. Well played, man.
Cool.
See,
so
this is why it pays to be good
4,
neighbors.
So I don't, it would be pretty crazy if I still beat you now.
Yeah, I think in the 1v1.
Yeah, if I had traded then, I think I could have done something, but it's just you're quite a long way off from me now on a map where there's a lot of big continents and territory.
And I feel pretty comfortable with as well.
So I think I get the hang of this a little bit more now. So it's like the continents do matter at the start, but then as you move towards the end, it becomes more about the cards, and it's important to take people out.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say the continents per se. I would just say getting a large reinforcement, however you manage to do that.
Yeah.
I think the way this game actually played was unlikely to repeat, but let's see how fast you can go, man. You got one territory. Everyone's laughing at me.
There's still so much that you've got in there.
Right. My natural bonus will be over 10 easily.
Yeah.
But this is good. We could also practice Pangea.
Nice.
Which is another one that I can humbly say I feel very confident about. So you've been very active on Reddit. Like, I notice you're really trying to be helpful. It's
I think
it's cool to see, man. I appreciate it.
It is interesting the response that you get sometimes. So, for example, there was one where it was Mordvendra originally complaining that he was saying, okay, I'm basically the best. He's saying that he's the best player in the world because he doesn't 1v1, and he thinks 1v1 doesn't take skill. So he thinks he must be the best player.
Yeah.
And I was basically responding that it's all right not 1v1ing, but he's also not a well-known player for free-for-all. So, what's that?
No, I agree. I'm just listening.
Yeah, so it was, like, I said to him basically, like, if you want people to take you seriously and think of you as one of the best players, if you really are some free-for-all god, like you're saying, then it would be great to see you get involved in some of the free-for-all tournaments and win those. And he completely ignored that, obviously, because, you know, he's not an especially, like, he's decent, he's a master, but he's not the best player ever, so it would be tough winning the tournaments for him, especially when there are so many amazing players out there. But what was interesting was that a player that I've not got a trade did respond to me and said, oh, that's amazing, this tournament's for Risk, can you, like, link me up to some of them? And he's now signing up for stuff. So I think often the person who hears you isn't always the person you're directly in the conversation with. I think in a lot of these public spaces there can be other listeners who can pick up something valuable from what you're saying, even if it's not who you're talking to.
Yeah, totally. And, like, that sort of, when I was chatting with Buck, he was like, even if one person listens to me, then all of this effort is worthwhile. And I guess, for me personally, maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I get upset and I don't like all the negativity and I just don't get it, right? Because it's not productive.
Yeah.
But I got to kind of get out of my own way about that and just, you know, be the exemplar that I sort of see you being, right? That I admire you so much for. I don't know if you can tell that Sterling is a big figure in my mind, man. So, do you want me to set up? What are the? It's just regular sort of 6-player Pangea.
It's the same settings as this one, isn't it? So if I just go on to Pangea, it should.
Oh, okay, you're gonna do it. Okay.
It should work, right?
All right. And nobody was breaking continents that game, says Big Dog. Yeah. Oops. Oops moment.
So listen to the video. I've started playing some, because 3v3 tournaments starting, a few 3v3s in the last few days, and those have been really interesting.
I've never played yet. I think I'm going to play after this, though. You got any tips for me?
I'd say the big thing is you want to identify who's the most valuable player in their team, in terms of they might have something like they're able to get a particularly good continent, or, you know, they've got a really nice cap spot. There's something about them that is just, they're really important to that team. And then you will work as a 3, so as efficiently as you can possibly can, take out that person very quickly and make it into a 3v2. And once you've achieved that, if you can pull it off without too many losses, then the 3v2 becomes very much a downhill. So if you can get the teamwork to make that elimination, you're good.
So articulate who's weak, coordinate attack, defeat, and then make it a 3v2. and sort of snowball from
Yeah,
there.
and I mean, often you want to even start on the first turn, so you need to be quite quick about identifying who it is. So often on the second or even third turn, you've made the kill. So for example, on Turkey, it's relatively simple. So that like basically everything's really open. You can stack whoever you want. So it's a very basic 3v3. So a couple of times we've won just by straight up saying round one, okay, that player is the last in the turn order for their team, so is likely to not be able to trade in for a while. So let's just take them out, and that's worked actually. I've played that with Spikenson, and I've done that with my girlfriend and another player. I think it was Precious. Yeah, it was the first time I played with him, and yeah, it really worked. Whereas there can be other things that can be a bit more complex. So, for example, we were playing Machu Picchu last night, and it was a manual as well, so there was a lot to think about on the board because with the caps, the consonants were very attainable. So we formed a position where between two of us, we could hold two consonants without them being broken, and then nobody else would be able to hold consonants so we could get the win. However, this guy put his cap behind our front line, meaning that we couldn't hold those. So straight away we put focus on taking him out, and quickly when we did kill him, we then were in a position where we were able to force the win.
Because with three people you can coordinate and pretty much accomplish any single objective without overextending?
Yeah, definitely. So long as, like, often you'll lose just after one of them dies because you spend troops. One of them will trade and take out one of you, but it's still very much good if you can bring it down to a 3v2 for a bit.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to want my team's colors to match as much as possible too.
Yeah.
Right, just so that you don't get confused. All right, Sterling, you've seen a couple of my Pangea videos or no?
I have seen them a while ago though.
Okay, save that.
I just remember you using the term "this guy's the fish" a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, what I like about Pangea specifically is that jackpot, right? The two small continents that newer players will just fight and fight and fight until they lose way more than they would ever stand to gain.
Yeah.
That's
sorry, what were you saying?
I like your positioning. I just if there's one thing I can recommend is that you keep that 2-stack in Japan alive. The far west of this map, you have a 2-stack.
Yeah, it's not where you'd expect the countries to be, but it sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
In a crumpled up way.
Well, it was 65 million years ago.
Yeah. It's a really cool idea for a map.
I love this. This is easily my favorite map because it has everything, right? It's big, it's open, and it has like the off-center weighting of the 2-for-2 and the 3-for-2.
Yeah.
All of those elements just make this the perfect map for me, or at least for what I used to do for ranked. I don't know. I haven't really been playing a lot of multiplayer ranked recently because I think I want your feedback on this. I think I've hit the ceiling. I think rank 29 is about as high as I can possibly ever get with these settings. Do you think I'm wrong?
You probably will know more than I will in terms of like what your stats look like, but usually when like the way I kind of judge it is, for me, I'll curve up for a while, then I'll have a loss, and then I'll curve up for a while and have a loss. And so long as after I lose, I'm kind of above the previous draw, or at least kind of broke even, but was being above it before, then I'm relatively happy that.
Yeah, and for you,
I'm going up. Whereas if I'm getting the sense that I'm actually going down or just wobbling overall, then it can be, it's a bit trickier to justify the time on ranking up. And I often find that just playing some other modes for, like a few weeks and then just coming back to rank, like I'll have more skill and just get a bit further with it.
Because it's fresh again?
I think it's just because of the associated skills between the different types of risk. Like sometimes I'll just learn something that I hadn't even realised I didn't know from something completely different, and then when I do come back to the ranked 1v1s, it just clicks, and I'm able to play those better. Like my 1v1 win rate has doubled after spending, I think since Christmas, so like quite a few months of not playing 1v1s a lot and just mainly doing some free-for-all tourney stuff. And then when I did come back to the 1v1s, I just picked up more understanding of things like the dice, how territory counts were quite important, and how to block people in better. And it just meant that when I did get back into 1v1, I was more effective at playing those.
I think Prolox is going to join us, so he can ask you a couple questions
nice.
too. Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm excited for the 1v1 tournament. I never thought I would be into it. I will admit I shared the prevailing sentiment of 1v1 being, quote, not real risk for a long time until I came onto the Discord, and then my attitude was more like, what actually changed my mind was the simple thought, like, every game of Risk becomes a 1v1 at some point. And then that opened my mind to be, okay, so it's not a different game, it's a different style of the same game. And like you, I'm interested in being really good at all sorts of different styles. This person...
Yeah, it's in some ways,
yes.
Like it is very different because you are just focusing on one person instead of having to. You don't compromise to what each of the players wants by letting them have things that you don't want them to. But it does, you're still playing with the same dice, you're playing with the same cards, you're attacking on the same maps. So there is a lot of combined skills.
How long were you playing before you took up 1v1s?
I think I started playing. I played a few games of just joining random stuff, and actually I think I did win those. Just because I think the standards were a bit lower of how good people were, even though there were some Grandmasters, because it was a year ago and people just knew less about Risk. But then I just read something explaining that if you want to really quickly reach Grandmaster and you don't want to get cheated against, it is more effective to play 1v1 or 1v1 with bots. So I started playing Classic plus a bot and got Grandmaster in about 30 games. And then I wanted to try out playing at 6-player. So then I got to about top 1000 playing like 6-player prog. And that took a little bit longer, but not way longer than the first time. And that was this current account how I got started, actually. The other one, my first one, Sterling Mobile, I started with 1v1s. And then after that, I've done all sorts of stuff ranked. So I think I got up to maybe Master on a fixed account, but I didn't play it for that long. I probably could have got higher if I'd carried on. I've done all sorts of different 1v1s. I've played, different tournament settings for Progressive and for Zombies ranked. So yeah, I think a lot of stuff can work. Anything can reach Grandmaster really, but it's more a matter of if you want to get higher than Grandmaster, you do need to be a bit more tactical about what you play.
You ever consider doing the novice to Grandmaster speedrun?
Yeah, I definitely should do that at some point.
Why not, man? I that's what I actually started. I started a 1v1 account for it. So I was like, let's see if I can actually. And I'm pretty surprised at how, quote, easy it is to get top 500. Right? It didn't actually seem to take much skill. Now maybe that's in my head, but 11 hours or something to be top 500 doesn't seem like. Just speaks to the way the things the ranking system prioritizes, right? Going on long win streaks.
Yeah, I think you are a skilled player who's played a lot and is good at Risk, and I think for a lot of people it is just much harder because they not everyone is really skilled at Risk. So you'll get a lot of people commenting, making posts along the lines of, "I've been playing for 500 hours. It's my first time, and I've just reached Master. Is this good?" And actually, it kind of is. When you compare the fact that 90% of accounts, when you include inactives, are novices, and only I think 0.5% of people ever reach Grandmaster. if you're hitting that at all, that's a strong achievement. Like, let alone doing it fast. And there are accounts out there that I played that will be like 6,000 hours and they're still beginning because they just don't necessarily play that well. So there may be a handful of exceptional players who are able to achieve things fast, but for the vast majority, it's a really big achievement.
Okay, I'll take that compliment for what it is. It's impossible to get an objective measure of yourself in this world, right? You can take other people's feedback. Fair enough. Fair. I really wanted that 3 stack though. So I card skipped. What do you think of that?
I think, like, from what I've heard, there's kind of mixed opinions on it. I don't know specifically for this map because I've not really played this before, but I think usually the idea behind the card skip, if you're playing earlier on, is that you'll get the bigger trade, won't you? I think that can come at a cost later on, but the other implication, which can be quite important, is that you're slowing down the rate at which cards become important to the game. So if you're trying to hold on to consonants and stuff that you don't want people to make irrelevant with the cards, it can be good slowing down the game in that respect. Which, for things like 2v2 and 3v3, can make a massive difference. Like, if there's 3 of you who are agreeing, we've got good consonants, guys, let's not trade, let's not make the bonuses big, you can really, like, slow down the other team in terms of getting big card trades, and that can really help.
I never thought of it that way for 3v3 context. And then you all put in your trades when it makes sense for you, right? In a coordinated way.
Yeah, so if you grind out, like, by doing a turn skip and just squeezing until it's 5, you're grinding out a whole extra round or two in which you're not trading, which means that the other players will either have to trade at very low values, or they're basically trading quite late, which means that if you're the ones in the good consonant position, you're dragging your heels, stopping the point where the consonants stop being important and the cards become important, meaning you're getting an extra couple of turns of bonuses.
Yes. And if you're
in
like the lead,
extent, that does matter.
Oh, I never thought about that. Okay. Now I will pay attention to that. Because, like, if you're in the lead sort of in terms of positioning, maybe it's in your best interest to not...
just to slow things down.
Right. Okay. Huh. That is a great... See, these are the nuggets right here. This is what I'm here for, man. So, Sterling, you recently got mod on Discord. Maybe not super recently, but what does that mean to you? Like, why are you doing that part of the work, and why is it significant?
My biggest project for that I've been looking at has been... I'm organising the 1v1 tournament as an official tournament on the main server, rather than an unofficial one on its own side server, and that's been massive in terms of increasing reach of it. So when it was on its own server, there were 40 sign-ups who were all, I think, essentially all top 500 Grandmasters.
Right.
However, now we've opened up to the main server, 128 people signed up, so that's like 3 times as much, and we've got like all ranks getting involved. So it just makes it accessible to so many more people, and that's only really possible to do with more permissions. So it's quite exciting that that's now becoming a thing, and it's introducing a lot of people who weren't previously trying out 1v1 who are now giving it a go because they are interested in the main server.
How great does it feel to be an influence like that, right? To be such such an important person to the community, right? To create these tournaments for people where everyone can have fun and compete, and it must be very satisfying. I'm guessing it must feel like...
Yeah, definitely, and especially since it's something that I am really interested in. It's great to see more people enjoying it and taking part as well. It's been really interesting this week. I've ran about 11 interviews for event alphas. And you were one of them. It's just really exciting to see how many other people are very enthusiastic about getting involved and helping out with the community as well.
I'm a little reticent to add more work to my already fairly busy schedule, but I'm happy to do it for you
Yeah.
and for everyone, because
Yeah.
it's, you got to give back a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
in a way, it kind of fits the mantra of, if something needs doing, ask a busy person. I think in terms of risk, often fit into that. Like, some people just don't get anything done, and others just seem very productive. And I think it is often the people who do manage to get a lot of stuff done who can be the good ones to ask if you do need help with something.
well, I'm a 99th percentile orderliness person, so you're in psych, right? You told me once.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how much you believe in Big Five, but I took my Big Five a couple years ago, and that would be the key metric that I'm an outlier in. I'm max orderliness. So I'm pretty punctual, and I like, the game of Risk is a great metaphor, right? You're bringing order to a chaotic system, right? You're uniting the board under your color. So no wonder I find this satisfying.
It has some parallels to solving a Rubik's Cube, where you've got all these scattered colours and you're trying to neatly categorise it all into solid block.
Never been good at that, though. Could never wrap my mind around a Rubik's Cube.
So I want to trade you.
If you have a trade right now, the only acceptable reason to use it is to make a kill, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I probably could make a kill, but it's not...
It's not quite profitable.
It's not safe.
You make a risky kill? Yeah. Well, the matches
I
are low,
probably
right?
could have done it, to be honest, but I started too late.
But the math is bad, right? Because let's say you make a kill, you get a 20... The match only worth 20, so you got to kill like 45 something troops to do it.
Yeah.
It seems like bad value.
Yeah. And there's always a risk in terms of, like, because of the speed change, I might run out of time, just miss something, get unlucky dice. So it's not a certainty that I will get his scorecards.
Maybe that's why everyone's playing so conservatively, because of the speed change. Well, that wouldn't affect Big Dog. I know Big Dog's a mobile user, so I bet you he's happy about the change, evening the playing field a little bit. I just find it so satisfying capturing a big board quickly, right? I have my mind as the limiting factor, as opposed to the game itself or the technology or whatever. What do I do here? And I can't believe that yellow has been allowed to hold that continent either.
It's only +2, isn't it? No one wants to hit 15 to break a 2.
Yeah. I guess they're also holding 13 territories, though. So this is the part of the game where the board starts to explode. Right here. This is my favorite moment in a progressive game.
He's thinking, isn't he? He's really considering it.
Well, you don't have the luxury of time, unfortunately.
Another bit of mod that I do like is when people need a premium or grandmaster role, getting to give them that and kind of congratulate them, and it is nice, kind of being on the front line when someone does make achievements and finding out about that.
Well, yeah, you're very active. Our time zones don't always overlap, so I think it's easy for me to not connect with you for games as often as I would like to, but it's a cool thing to do. Like, what do you see for the future? For the Discord, for the community at large?
Ooh.
Are we growing? He's going for it, eh? He's going for it. Okay. Yeah. That'll trade in with...
That was I was having my eye on white, actually, but yeah. I can sort of see why I do that.
Yeah, well, now if you can get white, that's game-winning.
Yeah, I think the big things that are kind of a focus at the moment in the servers are, firstly expanding to more languages. So, for example, Turkish voice chat is something that's going to be coming in, I think, in the next few weeks, and there's been a lot of excitement for.
Nice.
And And also, like, we're even considering seeing if we could maybe translate to hit all languages, which would be really amazing. And also just bringing in more bots to automate more. Okay, it's my turn. I'm going to try and kill white.
Good luck. This is a cool kill. I want to see it. Oh, you're going to have to punch through my 10 sec? No, you can go around. Yeah, this is a tricky kill. I think you have just enough time to do it. Uh-oh. 5 cards. Oh, Sterling.
No.
You got it. Don't run out of time. Ah, just in time. Well done, man.
Well, that was, yeah, by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah, for sure. Wow.
Green's worth it, but I probably don't have time. Same with you.
Yeah, if it's possible.
What's a good territory that connects to a lot of things that I could put down some troops on?
Brazil.
Where's that? Ah, yeah.
Brazil and the other one you have, the Far East Russia, are kind of like nexus points for this board.
I think Obi used Brazil when he was working out the balance splits tables, because the only way of working splits of how many the odds of the different things is just to check how comes up when you hover over them. So he was using that as a way of, there's so many territories next to it that he was able to then use those to check what would happen when he hovered over like different numbers on each of them.
Guys, 2 minutes to go.
Okay, Parallax.
What happens in 2 minutes? Oh, I've done them again.
We'll finish. You know I'm finishing. Bum, 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 bum.
Am I supposed to be hosting this tournament game, or is someone else hosting?
I don't know. I don't know, Sterling, but I wish you lots of luck, man.
Olive will be hosting, don't worry about it.
Cheers.
You know, I really thought you were mad at me after the tournament finals last quarter. Because, like, we were chatting a bit, and then I was like, oh, I was so... You know, it wasn't like a let's fuck over Sterling kind of move, right? But the way it kind of happened, I felt bad. Do you know what I mean? I felt bad about the outcome. And I was just like, oh, I really hope Sterling isn't upset at me. But you know what I mean?
No, I think, like, fixed isn't my strong point, so I probably should have practiced that more.
That's what you think?
Yeah,
I think you just got unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of both, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, there's players out there who are better at fixed than I am.
I think Misty just had such good positioning that there was no way that game was ever going to end in any other way. Oh, you opened me. You gave me a line. No, not yet. Ah.
I think it's true random.
It's definitely not true random. Is it?
No, it's not.
You're trolling.
Okay, so when I play my real one, I need to remember not to open the other players in the end game.
Well, I mean, force me to make the splits, right? Force me to make the unprofitable splits. Is there anything you'd like to touch on before we end? Anything you'd like to promote that we haven't gone into?
I mean, 5-a-side is pretty full, but it's still a good thing to sign up and get involved with. I'll be running that, and then also 1v1's coming up, so I'd recommend getting involved with that if possible. I think 5-a-side has pretty much the highest concentration on any of the Risk servers of top players. Like, nearly all of the active top 10s are there, as well as loads of top 100s and stuff, so it's a great place to learn if you do want to pick up from some of the strongest players.
I second this recommendation. I had a ton of fun. And you also brought me into 5-a-side, so thank you again. It was really cool last season. I'm also grateful that I don't have to captain the team, because the extra organizational thing, while I could do it, it's just not something I have a ton of time for at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so let's see how bad the speed is now, because this would normally have not been something I would blink about capturing for Pangea. So now I'm going to actually get a somewhat, oh well.
I think you've got this. 30 seconds.
Not this turn, though. Not this turn.
I've got a trade as well, so if you...
Oh, so we keep it going, huh?
I think you got it.
Well, it's not like I'm not trying to kill you. I don't have the troops, actually. I don't quite have the troops.
That's fine. Okay, so I've got 65 and you've got... Oh, this is close.
It is. Let's see Sterling capture the whole map.
I've already...
Yeah, you fucked up your pathing. It's tricky.
Yeah.
Also, there's still a pathing break on this map. Italy and UK in Europe don't connect to each other.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so FYI.
It's good to know.
It is good to know. So don't get trapped there in your real game.
It's kind of interesting the way there is no way of checking without it being your turn and like actually kind of risking it, which things do or don't connect. Like Warzone, for example, which is another Risk version, does have that as a feature, but sometimes it helps if you're the I'm not even anywhere near close to the time anyway. But yeah, sometimes it does. Oh yeah, you had 7 troops over, even if I'd been quicker. But
I'm also a lucky person.
Yeah, sometimes it does help if you're really familiar with the map. The fact that players can't check what does connect, because it means that you're at a advantage. But it's not always such a bad thing that it is a little bit esoteric.
You know me, man. I'll take every advantage I can get, as long as it's legal.
It's kind of fortunate you had a trade on 3 there. I think it's about a 1 in 3 chance on this map, isn't it? It would be higher if there was a smaller map, because there's a higher frequency of wildcards.
Yeah, it was low odds, but I am also lucky.
Well played.
Yeah, man. GG.
That was a good game. I think I've got a bit of a hang for this as well now.
Well, I hope so. I hope it was helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. This was great.
Thanks for the interview. It's been really interesting. Yeah.
Thank you, Sterling. I'll talk to you later, man.
My Tony game now.
Yeah, take it easy. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed these games. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I hope if you like my work, you consider subscribing to me on YouTube. Check me out on Twitch. I'm doing some streams. My schedule is Fridays are fixed content, Tuesdays I stream with Drew, and Wednesdays are the podcast-style interview show. Every other day is whatever I feel like. And until next time, for all of you on the path to world domination, good games and good luck.